Why is it every time I do stuff like this, it won't let me? Right. Hello. Right. Can somebody please share this onto our wall for me? Because I cannot find. I'm having the same problem. I can't find it on anybody's thing.
Done.
Let's have a look. See if I can. Is it on there?
I've done it.
Thank you. All right, nice one. Cheers, that mate. Yes, I haven't bloody stopped. Anyway, how is everybody?
Fine and dandy. Thank you very much.
Fine and dandy. Fine and dandy. Why have I got no comments come up? Ah, there you go.
A bit achy. A bit sunburny. But other than that,
I've told you, mate, nude sunbathing at your age is not good. You know, that's why they call you leather person.
It was actually nude gazebo building.
Do you know, I can see you doing that and all. Like, oh, damn it, Ellen, I've nailed my testicles to the wall. Nope, nope.
Sorry.
How's you, Josh, anyway?
I'm all right. Same old. Sound all right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, dear. Sorry, yeah. I'm sorry I was late to everybody tonight. It's just been mad. But we're here now anyway. What have you been up to this week? Both of you?
Gazebo building.
Apart from gazebo building.
Not gazebo building, pagoda building.
Pagoda, bless you. Well, so what else? What have you been doing?
I actually been working on your episode.
Well, this one. Oh, the one that we did.
Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't sure. I didn't even know if that had gone out yet or not.
It's called Sunbleach, Jamie.
Sunbleach my ass.
But it's bleach.
I have an interesting video that Jamie has sent me. I need to send it to you. I'll send it to both of you. See what you think, because I've watched it and I'm like, oh, okay, that does make for interesting watching. And what you got to do is wait till right at the end, because it looks like something's just looks like it's on a weird screen or something. But then you'll see it come out and come down a car windscreen and then go back again. So I'll send it to you. Yeah, I'll definitely send it to you. But so what's been going on in the world of the wonderful across the pond?
Country's been on fire.
What?
The country's pretty much been bleeding and on fire. If you haven't seen the news,
yeah,
same old.
Yeah, and then old Sleepy Joe's decided he's not going to run anymore. The guy's in his 80s.
He's done.
Well, I think it was a case of peer pressure, wasn't it? At the end of the day, he did say that the only thing that would stop him from running would be if he was really ill. And then, oddly enough, we have the Pew Pew incident with Mr. Trump. And then straight after that, Biden gets COVID, conveniently enough.
Yeah.
Oh, I think COVID was coming since the debate.
Yeah.
It's been very odd. Hi, Rita. Hi, everybody else. Eric, Jamie, everybody else that's watching. Before I forget, I want to say thank you to Irene Akiko. She's made like a Bushido-style necklace for Rachel, all out of shell beads and stuff. She pebbles she's found on the beach and sent it over to Rachel. I'll show you. And it's absolutely beautiful. Don't know if you can see, but yeah, all handmade. And,
very nice.
So it was nice to get that in the post. I shall put that down there for now.
Cool.
But Yeah, I've been watching weird and wonderful things that have been going on this week and keeping an eye on it. And I tell you something that I've noticed that it keeps cropping up. And I don't know if you guys, before we get onto future tech and stuff like that, Lemuria and Mu, the Lost Continents, they've been coming up a lot. And there's been lots of things about the Samoans, and they have their own version of the flood, and that's how they ended up in Hawaii and everything like that. And I've been looking into it, and it looks like a lot of all this stuff, and it ties in neatly with what we were going to talk about. All this future tech and Atlantis and Atlanteans and Thoth and all these sorts of weird and wonderful things that are supposedly legend, but are starting to look more and more tangible. It looks like a lot of them were based on these sunken continents. What do you reckon?
I honestly can't think of a culture where it hasn't been touched. Can you? Yeah. To be honest,
it seems to have their tech and everything. It's, we have the Great Reset, and we're overdue one at the moment. But it seems to me that like all this tech and these lost things and this that and the other that are starting to come to light. Yeah, we all know we're humans 2.0 or 4.0 or whatever, but it's not been thousands of years we've been on here. It's been a good couple of millions of years that we've been on here. And you look at the Babylonian Kings list, and then you look at all the legends before that, and before that, and before that, and before that, and all the Dreamtime stuff and the Native American stuff. We've been here for a long time, and we've been in contact with them for donkeys. In fact, we were probably seeded by them. That sounds terrible. I know what I mean. I don't mean we were seeded. I mean we were sprinkled on the earth and watched. I didn't mean, whoa, you are seeded now, boy. But I think there's a lot of stuff underground that we need to go into, and there's more and more stuff being found in these mines, aren't there? That they know from the seams and where all these things are being found are at least 1 million, 1.5 million, 2 million years old, and they're finding weird and wonderful things like metal pots and vases and stuff and rudimental tools and things like that, all in these seams with rewriting on and cuneiform and stuff that they got no idea what the hell it is. There's been some really interesting stuff this week. And I see the TikTok I am from the future guy has been at it again. I must admit I've added him now because I keep an eye on his stuff, because some of it.
You know how many of them there are, though? I'm not even sure which one you're referring to.
I know, but I've noticed that they copy each other. Like somebody put up, there's going to be a good big tornado in October, and now it was supposed to be,
it just has nothing to do with it being tornado season over here.
Yeah. Tornado in October, and it was supposed to have been in Texas, and now this big tornado is going to be in August, and it's in Arkansas. And then I saw another one, and it's supposed to be down in wherever the cousin humping place is. It's down there.
I got fed up of watching them. I just scrolled past them. As soon as I see it come up on the screen, I'm a time traveler and I can prove it. I'm like, yeah, whatever. I get so fed up of seeing them.
I wonder if they get sponsored by a brand that we don't know yet. Sponsored by?
Oh, I'm sure. There's so many people on TikTok getting sponsored.
Yeah, it'd be nice if we did. Who could we be sponsored by, guys? We need to find something.
Let's not
get
SpaceX. Take the corporate handout.
Sponsored by SpaceX. That'd be good. My name is Rosanna. Oh, hello, Siobhan. Yeah, we see you every week. Hope you're all right. I'm glad. Welcome to the show. And hi, Ned. How much longer will we be on? We've only just started because we were late, so we'll be on till
Mark was late.
Whatever. I'm going to sip me tea anyway.
Wade was just like me, just sitting there, just like, come on.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I even did. I was like, StreamYard's not working, huh?
I was hurrying, and I was getting everything set up, and then my stomach went, "Ha! Fuck you!" And I went, "No, not now!" And, oh my god! Boom, run to the toilet, and the cat's gone, dickhead, as I've run past him, And I'm just saying, "Come on, hurry up, damn you, hurry up!" Sounded like a brass band. So you know, so and then I came back in and set everything up.
I even had time to stick my picture on the wall.
Mulder poster.
Cool.
Yeah, Mulder's poster. I like that.
Very cool.
That's going into my writing room once I've sorted it.
Well, I went out this week with the other half, and we went up to a couple of places that have multitudes of UFO sightings, and that's where, you know, the video of me on top of the cliff and everything. That's what all that was about. But we were also looking at places of where we can do a live UFO watch and this, that, and the other. And there's some interesting places up there, and we were also right in the heart of the Yorkshire cryptid country. So that'd be quite interesting as well. Big, thick woods everywhere.
You were actually looking for a good spot to go cliff diving, weren't you?
Muff diving?
No, cliff diving.
Oh, right. Sorry, I'm deaf. I don't know who Cliff is, and he doesn't deserve it. Do you see the tumbleweed go past there? I'm not diving on Cliff. No, forget it. Jesus! If you can travel out of space at almost the speed of light and then come back, I'll call you a time traveler. Well, funnily enough, we have got an engine coming out. There was something, we spoke about it about 2-3 years ago. No, 2 years ago, wasn't it? About the warp speed engine and the impulse engine. And I read something, I think it was last week, that the warp engine is almost done. But it doesn't work on like Star Trek type warp. It works on a fold. It puts a fold in space and then goes whoop, straight through it. So that'll be interesting to find out what that one's about, because it does something in front of the craft as the craft's going along. I'll see if I can find the paper and put it up. And I don't know if any of you have been following our TikTok or anything, but we've been putting up a lot of interesting stuff on there. So yeah, there's a lot of I try and reshare. Can you stop doing that to the laptop, please, Lilo? Thank you. To do with, what's his name? Billy Carlson. And he's been saying some interesting things. What do you make of him?
He's got some very interesting theories.
He knows his stuff.
Yeah.
Normally, people like that, I think, are absolutely full of shit. However, I know he knows his stuff, and I know he's read pretty much all of them, or the Dead Sea Scrolls, the Illuma Elise, or whatever, I can't remember how you say it, the Emerald Scrolls, everything, and he knows his stuff.
Yeah.
And he says the same thing as we've all said. We're not the first ones here. We've been here years, millions of years. Oh, look, it's Wayne, the man who could have been Michael Caine's voice stand-in. What?
That's all right. That's an ongoing joke.
Okay.
My name is Michael Caine.
So, what do you make of him, Josh?
I have heard that he is like psyops. I don't know.
See, I heard that about YouTube. Secure Team 10. I heard that about Secure Team 10.
Oh, I don't think he is. I mean, he kind of. Where did Wayne go? Anyhow, Secure Team 10 had Tyler had like a big like DUI whole thing happen, like beat up his girlfriend.
Oh, he did?
Yeah. That's why there's no more Secure Team 10. Lost his license, kept getting arrested.
Because he had he had like over was it 3 million listeners at one point? Hi, Carl.
I think so. I was watching him.
Yeah, I used to watch him, and then he had that thing where he was convinced that the Men in Black were watching him. Do you remember the black SUVs?
Yeah, that was also like when he was getting his DUIs, though. So
yeah, and then he started like who's the other one that I used to watch, but I think they've kind of sucked and gone downhill now. Two brothers. They got like a bit of a speech impediment when they talk. In the
Jedward,
US.
isn't it?
Oh, Jesus, I'm going to look at some fucking aliens. I can't remember them. I used to watch them as well, and then they kind of sold out and went over to mainstream what all the government and everybody says. And I noticed Tyler started doing that, and that's why I stopped watching him, because I was like, nah, mate, what are you doing? But,
I don't know. I stopped kind of watching all the mainstream ones. I feel like we're better off with people like us.
Yeah.
Get way more information.
Well, I totally agree. I mean, although I'll sit here and go, oh, thingy, can't remember the name, blah, 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 blah. But one of us will go, oh, you mean such and such? And say, oh, yeah, because my memory's shite. Welcome to Carl Hutchinson, who's our big man over here, but he's across the pond over there. So he's joining us live from over there. Well, so in the chat room. So, hi, Carl, mate. Future Tech. Right. Do you, and you guys out there watching us, and you guys in the chat room and everything, do you believe that, say, for instance, the way the pyramids were made, not just the pyramids of Egypt, but the pyramids all around the world, because there are pyramids all around the world. Do you reckon they were made by thousands and thousands of sweaty people in loincloths hauling stones for hundreds of fucking miles? Or do you reckon there may have been a simpler solution as to what they did or how they did it? What do you think?
Who's going first?
I think there's been a lot of stuff here for a long time, and I think, like with Nikola Tesla, it was stuff that they don't want us to know or see, and so it's been hidden out of the way. But it's thousands of years ahead of itself. I'm
a bloody dog. Sorry, I'm on the.
Better yours than mine.
Windows. Excuse me.
Neighbour's dog's going off on one again.
Oh, every time I do a show. Anyway, I think he's still doing it.
I get the hose.
I'm a firm believer that with all these things that are being found, and now they're going on about relics that are being brought up from Mu and Lemuria and stuff like that. I'm a firm believer that the tech that they had then was handed down and passed to them from, for want of a better word, their gods. But as we all know, the gods weren't who they really made out to be. And I do think that the gods, they existed, they were real, but I think there was a lot more to them than just this omnipotent
ancient alien theory.
Yeah. I do go down the alien. It's the only thing that makes sense. What do you reckon, you two? And we got Eminem's cousin joining us down below. It's NNN, Naughty Nancy down there. So what do you think?
I don't know.
I'm going pretty white.
Oh, that's nice, isn't it? I polish mine every day.
Hey, we all can't look like Bruce Willis, okay? And I'm getting worried. I'm getting there too. So
I don't know, because I look at all these different things and I think to myself, some of these things are just too far-fetched. You know, you look at them and you say, well, they've discovered this and they reckon it's like 10,000 years before our time.
Yeah. As
modern humans. But this sort of technology should not exist at least for another 1,000 years, and yet it's there. And I'm like, why has it been hidden for so long? Why have people only just discovered it now?
Because I think our concept of time is wrong.
You know, all of these years where we've been out mining and digging up Earth's natural resources, and only now are we starting to find these weird things And because of social media, we've been able to sort of get that information out there a lot quicker than we could have done, say, 100 years ago.
Some of the things were found, but unfortunately, the Smithsonian went, nope, what things?
Yeah.
Oh, I've been hearing about that, about how the Smithsonian has vaults and vaults and vaults underground of stuff, just like the Vatican does.
Yeah.
Bit like a Warehouse 13, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. But there was,
and not just stuff like, not just hidden tech, but also like stuff about tribes they didn't want people knowing about, stuff that, people that got genocide that they're just like, well, we can just put that there. So,
yeah.
I think a lot of our history, the narrative was changed. I think it was hidden. And I think it was changed to suit selfish men's causes, especially the Vatican. Because when you look at back when the Vatican was at its fullest power and it was taking everything, like when they destroyed the Knights Templars and everything like that, you had people like the Borgias who were in charge, and one of them was a pope, and he had his family living there, and they were all humping each other and having orgies and this, that, and the other. This is supposed to be a fucking pope, and it wasn't just them. It went on like that for ages. But anything that could have helped mankind or better mankind or explained a hell of a fucking lot, they all went, nope. And it was all hidden away.
Well,
and it still carried on with
one could argue that the Roman Church was the Roman Empire struggling to stay alive, and they did a damn good job of doing it.
I grew up, Irish father and everything, and he was going to be a priest. He went to the seminary, and the only reason he became special ops is because he got thrown out the seminary for one of them bullied him, and my old man, little fella, attacked him, and it took something like 6 priests to pull him off. Smacking his head into the ground and everything, and then he went, "Oh Jesus, boy, I don't think this is for you. Go and try the army." So my dad joined the army at 15. He lied about the age and joined his age and joined the Irish Army. And then went from there to there to there. But even he said, like 2 weeks before he died, he was coming out with all this stuff that he used to do. And he was telling me about some of the things that hit, not just him, but like the teams. And they would talk about it afterwards. And it was just something that they used to talk about amongst themselves, and they didn't share it with anybody. And he was saying about the things that they used to see, like in Borneo, Papua New Guinea, Belgian Congo, the middle of fucking Africa and stuff like that. Things that he said, all hushed up. Everyone knew that this stuff was there. Aliens, UFOs, cryptos, you name it. There was all sorts of weird and wonderful things there, including he was on about some weird vampire thing that was going about in the like Arabian Peninsula, stuff like that. I don't know if he meant jinns or what, but he said all this stuff was well known, well documented. And it was only the people that were there, and all the high ups knew about it, but it was all suppressed and put away. And no. So I'm a firm believer that our history that's been given to us is only what they want us to know, and a lot of it's been changed.
Yeah, and I mentioned this the other day, and you just mentioned it now actually about the Knights Templar, and for quite a few hundred years, there was a piece of paper from the minutes that were written of the trial of the Knights Templar.
Oh, they were screwed. They were fucked. They were.
They were screwed, but they were also let off. Although they were tried and sought after and to be punished and imprisoned and death penalty and so on and so forth, but they were actually pardoned of the so-called crimes of blasphemy and that they were originally made for. Only the parchment that the minutes were written on where this was stated went mysteriously missing and was found in a box in the Vatican vaults.
Oh, there's a fucking surprise.
It was released in 2001.
How to bastardize an entire clan, if you want. I've always.
There's two opposing fraternities right there. There's the Jesuits and the Freemasons, and they've never gotten along since the 13th.
thought there's a good mystique with the Knights Templar. I actually always wanted to be a Knights Templar. Always wanted to be. But I'd like to, because they were accused of worshipping Baphomet, weren't they? And they weren't.
Yeah.
Amongst other things. And then Jacques de Molay, wasn't it? The head of the Templars, when he was burnt at the stake, he cursed them because it was Friday the 13th that they were burnt. No, it was Friday the 13th that the order was put out, wasn't it? And then when he was burnt on the at the stake, he cursed the Pope and everybody else in the Vatican. And they reckon a lot of shit happened from that. But yeah, they were treated like absolute crap. But they knew, the Templars knew. When you look at some of their legends, they knew about the past future tech. They knew it. And one thing in particular, which is what brings us neatly round, wands. Now, when I say wands, I don't mean something that your missus gets from Hitachi and plugs into the bedside socket. Okay, not that sort of wand. I mean, yeah, it gives out a vibration, but not that sort of vibration. I'm on about the ones that you hear about the Anunnaki using.
Harry Potter.
Or Harry Potter, yeah, Harry Potter using. And also, there's been the world's oldest known picture of Christ that was found last month, I think it was, depicts him holding a wand and pointing it. Now, these wands are seen in various religions and various things around the world, from all around the same sort of timelines, but places that shouldn't know each other. These civilizations shouldn't know each other because we allegedly didn't have the technology or the craft to go and see these places. Yet they've all got the same tech. So some of their stuff. Oh, hello. Some of their stuff was used, and the things that they made were made exactly the same way. Now they think that these wands use sound resonance to make heavy things lift, and that's what they were doing, and that's how they built a lot of the pyramids and stuff like that.
Like what you're talking about, the Ankhs.
Yeah. What do you guys reckon?
The picture that with the wand, I don't know. I know it wasn't him just dancing with a big blade of grass. You know, they say, the Catholics say his blood is like 95% wine.
So he was an alcoholic then.
Well, there's a school of thought.
It's made of wine.
There's a school of thought that when he went, because he traveled all over Asia, and he was a very clever man, and he wasn't just look, I can make you better, and this, that, and the other. He studied Buddhism, he studied healing, he studied Reiki, he studied Shiatsu, he studied pressure points, he studied various forms of martial arts as well. He studied mysticism, Hinduism, and he learned all these things. But he traveled with his mum as well. There's also the school of thought that he's actually a hybrid. And we're not doing this to upset anybody who's of faith, but there's a school of thought that he is a hybrid. He's part Anunnaki, which would explain the virgin's birth, would explain the star, would explain being zapped up.
But it could also be future tech, artificial insemination.
Yeah, exactly. And it would explain so bloody much. Like rolling back the entrance to the tomb on Easter Day and going, surprise! And he's not there, So, what do you make of it?
I just personally think that he was just a normal person who just knew certain things, knew what to do in the right situation, and was very generous with his knowledge.
I think he was definitely a real person. I don't think he was the son of God. I think he was a real person who was extremely clever and had a lot of knowledge that people back then shouldn't have had.
I think he was a Dynamo the magician.
What would a better accent?
Just good with illusion. I mean, you know the story with the fish and the loaves of bread. And Dynamo did exactly the same thing. He was in a village in Africa with a bucket, and they put a fish in it. And when he tipped it up, hundreds of fish came out of it. It's all to do with illusion. Well, you do that to a native village who sort of don't really sort of have that much to do with the modern world, and they're still more involved with their traditional ways. Someone walks in with a bucket, plops a fish in it, then tips it up, and hundreds of fish just fall out onto the floor. These people are going to go, my God. And they would worship him.
Is how you get religion and gods.
Exactly.
Just explained it in a nutshell.
So all I think he was he was just a very kind and knowledgeable man, and people praised him because of the things that he was doing. And then over the years, the tales of the things that he did had changed and altered, Chinese whispers sort of thing, until you got to a modern day where everybody thinks that, you know, he was the son of God, he did all these miracles and everything else. But then when you throw in the books that have been excluded from the Bible, which, as we've been saying before in the past, they are key books that would, in a sense, mess up the modern Bible because of the contradiction that there would be.
I'm reading about that today, actually.
Exactly, the contradiction that would be created by just like the Book of Enoch.
Yeah.
You know, and the was it the Book of Mary Magdalene?
They left out the Book of Mary Magdalene because how dare they have a woman have her own Bible?
Exactly. So, you know, they've
apparently
excluded these books.
There's the Ethiopian Bible with all the books.
That should be the real one, isn't it? The only true
Yeah.
one. And isn't it, if I remember rightly, the Ethiopian Bible, isn't that kept near where they say the Holy Grail is? Yet the Holy Grail is what makes the keepers get radiation sickness.
Keeper. There's only one person that looks after that.
Yeah, but each one
One
gets
monk.
radiation sickness and goes blind and then dies, and then the next one takes over.
Yep.
And they all
They
know
have to make sure there's only ever one person guarding it.
That to me screams that's some sort of energy device, or I don't think it's necessarily a weapon, but I think it's an energy device from back along.
It's the key to free energy.
Yeah.
Or could it just be a smoke screen?
Nah, it's this powerful crystal that'll power the entire planet that nobody can have.
We know during World War II, Himmler was responsible for going around trying to look for certain things like the Spear of Destiny, and the Ark of the Covenant and the Holy Grail. You know,
Nazis with the burnt out eyes.
To say whether they'd actually managed to get hold of them, or did the Vatican get hold of it first? Because it would have been a race. What would, you know, in the eyes of the Catholic Church, would I want an occultist to have the Spear of Destiny, the Ark of Covenant, and the Holy Grail, or do I send people over there, get it first, and get it in the vaults before he does? I know what I would rather. If I was the Pope, I'd be saying, get your ass over there now and get it.
Well, they think he found the entrance to Shangri-La because there's all these entrances to various realms all around the world. And there's that one out in, I can't remember where it is in America. You might know, Josh. And it's like a doorway that's cut into a cliff. But it's not a doorway you can walk through because it's solid. But they reckon that when the incantations...
Is it Mount Shasta?
Is that the one where they talk about people going thumb through it? I know it's like really, really important mountain in Native American. Like they fought like a giant bear from the sky. Well, and also here's a good bit of information for you. Back, you know, when we had the plague, the bubonic plague, one in the was it the
1600s?
Yeah.
1600s.
That one, there was reports all over Europe of men, because this is where we get the Grim Reaper from, of men dressed or beings dressed all in black, faces covered, and they had what they thought to be scythes at the time. But these guys were reported walking in fields, and stuff was coming out of these what they thought were scythes, and the crops were being spoilt and blighted. And it got so, and these beings were seen coming from craft that was coming from the sky and landing, going back up and landing, and coming back up and landing. Many eyewitness reports for this, and it got so bad that King Charlemagne, in France, put out an edict that these guys had to be found, captured, and tried for spreading. Oh, what was it? Spreading a plague, and I can't remember what you call it, but where you kill crops and everything like that. All of that stuff. They got so predominant of being seen all the time, and these crafts coming up and down, and then these beings dressed in black with what they thought was a scythe, and it was whatever it was. It wasn't a scythe. It was spraying stuff on the crops, and they very often go out into the streets and spray people's doorways and spray people walking past, but you can never see their faces. And yeah, Charlemagne tried to get some of them captured, and he sent out big burly men. A couple were captured, but then you get loads of them come down and go. But these beings were like 7, 8, 9 foot tall, and it's documented. It's documented. You can look it up.
I always just figured the Grim Reaper picture came from how the monks and the doctors dressed, like with the.
Well, no, you'd have thought that, but apparently no. This was from this. I always thought it was from when they stuffed the rags down the beak of the nose and everything, but no, it wasn't. The Grim Reaper character came from these beings that were being seen going up and down. And as I say, it's not nonsense. It's not stuff I'm making up. You can actually go out there, go to Google Land and research it, and you'll find the original documents and stuff and the edicts and everything. So all this stuff has been going on down through the centuries. And again, this is not stuff that's mainstream. You do have to do your research. But it's all been pushed away and pushed to one side and hidden, and no, couldn't possibly. And the Vatican knew about this. The Vatican knew the whole time. They knew about every single bit of this. What else is it that the Vatican and the Bobberments and everything aren't telling us?
Yeah.
So those of you who haven't fallen asleep listening to us, what do you reckon? What else is we're not being told about? Like the skunk works and their TR3Bs and everything, and the fact that New Swabenland apparently still does have a working base over there. Whether it's still Nazis doing it or not, I don't know. But apparently there is still a base over there where UFOs have been seen coming in and out all the time, but they come in and out through the entrance that's underneath the sea.
I was worried about New Swabenland. You ever play Killzone? Back in
Not
the day?
yet.
Well, basically the storyline of that was we made it to Mars and the Nazis are already there, and they're all like, "Yep, we've been waiting for you."
Have you ever seen what's that bloody film? And that's got the Nazis up on the moon. Iron Cross.
Yeah.
Iron Sky. I saw the second Iron Sky to that where they're on Mars. It's mental. However, elements of it
Possible.
are actually rumors and stuff that's going around with whistleblowers. It does make for interesting stuff. I do love the one where they turn the black guy white and he's like, "What the fuck? What's going on?" But yeah, I think all this future tech, I think more and more stuff's going to come to light. And then I personally, I've not read anything or seen anything about it, but personally, I think somebody in the Smithsonian at some point is going to come out, get some stuff out of the archives, and come out and go, "Look."
Yeah, I think a lot of tech just gets recycled. I think that's why planes haven't changed in a really long time. I've recently found out cars were electric for the first 15 years.
That's right. Yeah, they were.
I was saying that to someone the other day. Over here, we lost touch with the milkman. The good old English milkman. He used to come round like stupid o'clock in the morning, plop your milk on the front door, and he would always have an electric milk float.
That's right. Yeah.
Because it was the quietest way of getting around at that time of the morning to drop your milk off.
Still hear it now.
Him putting the bottles down on your doorstep made more noise than the milk float itself.
Right. Yeah.
And that was back in the late 70s, early 80s.
And they used to go all morning. They used to do a full round on one charge.
They used to go all over our village, and our village at the time in the 80s was what could be at least 4 miles by 3 miles wide, and he used to do the entire village with just that
That's
one
weird.
charge.
Why isn't that a thing anymore? I mean, we have prescription to everything else. Why not that? And everybody uses milk.
And the problem is because the supermarkets are turning around and claiming that they can sell it cheaper. But milkmen are starting to come back over here now. They are starting to get popular again because they deal more directly with the farms rather than having a supermarket that has a middleman and they have to agree with the price with the farmer. But the farmer can't sell it unless he sells it to the supermarket at a stupid price where he doesn't make much profit. And that's the problem. I'd rather go and buy 4 pints of milk from a farmer's shop or from a farm shop than I would a supermarket, because I know I'd get good milk. I know it hasn't been tampered with, and I know the farmer would get more of the profit than he would from a supermarket.
Illegally here, they have to tamper with it. It's law. They can't sell it to anybody unless it's certain stuff, and there's like a lot of growth hormones put into it.
I've been sent an interesting question on WhatsApp. How did they build cathedrals and such with ropes, pulleys, etc., that we cannot build now with all the machinery we have available? Craftsmanship, basically. I've seen how they used to make
demons.
Yeah, I've seen how they used to build those things, and there was a guy who built a load of things in his garden using just those tools, but he proved he could build monoliths from the stuff you have there, not dragged hundreds of miles, but from the stuff you've got there. So that's how they used to do cathedrals and things.
There is an example. I can't remember the name of it, but I think it was the Cathedral of the Family or something in Barcelona in Spain, and it had 4 spires, and it took 100 years to build those 4 spires. And we were doing a guided tour around that area, and the tour guide turned around and said they are constructing the other 4 spires as the architect's plans, but that will take another 100 years to do, even with today's technology.
Were they building it with today's technology or with the old technology?
Well, they're using new technology, but with the new technology, it was still going to take another 100 years to build.
Fucking hell.
So,
what if they were 3D?
You make of that, if you will, 100 years with the old technology and another 100 years with new technology. You would have thought the new technology would have made it easier.
So much is repressed. So much shit is repressed. I got no one here.
3D printer.
When you see the statues of this, like Sumerian statues, the Babylonian statues, and then you go around to the Maori stuff, and then you go on to the Machu Picchu, and you see all their stuff. What are these bags that they're depictions of gods are all holding, and they all have these bracelets, and they all try and say, oh, it's for this and oh, it's for that. How does every single civilization that weren't supposed to know each other? I'll say that again, like I did earlier. They're not supposed to know each other, these civilizations. How is it?
All the same group of aliens, unless they're breathing bags.
I'm a believer in the aliens version of events, but I think we were certainly helped. I do think we were helped, and there is proof that our DNA was genetically altered 20,000 years ago. So. How did it happen? Oh, it happened over 20 years.
I've recently seen a TikTok the other day about some institute doing a massive seer experiment, and they all saw the same thing. And apparently, it was kind of creepy that they saw a group of beings that were just going around seeding planets. They didn't ever take care of any of the planets, but that's like where the fish, the people, the planets, everything came from, and then they'd go on and just keep doing that and doing that and doing that, and just.
I found that cathedral. It was called La Sagrada Familia.
Oh, wow.
That's beautiful.
And there's another, the architect's plans, there is another 4 towers to build. And they reckoned back in the 80s it was going to take another 100 years to build them. So it's taken 100 years to get that far, and then another 100 years to get the rest of it done.
Do you reckon that, like I say, all this future tech, and there is evidence in old carvings and pictures and paintings and whatever. Do you reckon this stuff has been repressed? Do you reckon there is a body out there that knows all about it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I think it will be the same body that got involved with Tesla's inventions and hid them all out the way because they had to figure out a way of monetizing that invention.
It's all about
You
greed.
know, if you can project energy across the world free of charge, that's free energy. Energy companies would lose too much money. So they take the patent, hide it out the way until they can figure out a way of monetizing it, and then they'd release the technology.
And that's the sad thing, like, especially when it comes to medicine, they've got cures for a lot of the things that are out there. And I've got it on fairly good authority from other military sources that there have been little tiny wars over various plants that have been discovered that can cure various things, including and up to cancer. And they know all this.
Whoa.
They've got proof. They've got all of this stuff, but they would far rather make money by keeping the symptoms at bay rather than curing it. And that's just...
We had that dude in the 80s that built them crystal capsules that people laid in, and then like they projected different sound frequencies. He ended up dead.
Yeah.
And like, I think he was getting like a crazy amount of people getting healed from cancer.
Yeah. What were they called? The Lazarus coffins, Lazarus chests?
Something like that.
Yeah. But yeah. And it's fucking ridiculous. It winds me out so much that you've got all this stuff out there. There are a lot of good people out there, but then you get the bastards, like all the Bobbermans, all the corruption.
And there's like 3% of them, and they control everything.
Yeah. And is it 2 families or 3 families? I can't remember. I know you got the Rothschilds, and you got the.
There's a couple warring factions too.
But all over money is pathetic, absolutely pathetic.
But that's the thing. Anything that could make money, if you've got the patent for it in the first place, they'll go for it. The fact that it can be given out free, that's why all these people that invent cars that can do 150 miles on 1 pint of water.
Yeah.
You know, how can they monetize it when it comes out the air for free?
Do you think that's why we don't have full disclosure? Like why beings don't come here and like openly talk to us?
I wouldn't be surprised.
I mean, I brought this up once before. There's some old Montauk videos with a scientist talking about the reptilians and the reptilian. He was like, the reptilians were berating them about how they don't understand how people have to pay for homes and food. That they're not even like that. That we're some cold sons of bitches because we literally throw people out over paper. Yeah. And they're like, we'd never do that.
They've got a point, and to be absolutely honest, that that's one of the reasons in a lot of the things that's written down why they haven't come forward yet is because the governments have made deals with them, said, let's have a bit of tech, do this, we'll take your tech, gradually bring it out and roll it out. Like the stuff that a lot of the Black Ops use is 100 years in advance of anything we got now, but they won't bring it out. And it's all just over fucking greed, which is ridiculous. Because as I say, there's a lot of good people out here. If there's any of those our cousins from other planets looking in, there's a lot of good people out here. We don't want all this people being killed because of this and this, that, and the other. It should all be free.
I experienced an example of how greed exists over something that's so simple. I mean, today I had a cardiorespiratory examination done. And it was involving doing a lot of breathing tests. Got very lightheaded in the process. And it was to see whether I'd got asthma. And I had to take this inhaler. Now, I've never known, my dad suffers from asthma. And I've never known him to puff on an inhaler 4 times. Yeah, I had literally one after the other, and I had to do this 4 times and go and sit outside for 15 minutes and then go back in and do the same tests all over again. Yeah. Then I mentioned something to this guy because he'd told me whether it was a test for asthma or mucus buildup in the lungs. So I turned around to him and said, "What if I was to start using Mulane?" And he turned around to me and he said, "If you can get Mulane inhalers," and I've never told you this, but it works better than an inhaler.
What's it called?
I believe it.
Mulane.
How you spell it?
Mullein.
Lion's Mane.
Mullein. And it's an expectorant, which means it helps the body expel excess mucus, usually by helping make your coughs more productive to bring up mucus that may be setting in the chest or in the throat. And it's also a demulcent, which studies show that demulcents create a soothing anti-inflammatory coating over mucous membranes. And he reckons that, he didn't tell me, but he said that can work better than inhalers. And you can buy that on Amazon.
What'd you say, mate?
I said, but they don't have that at the hospital pharmacy, I'm sure.
They don't. But you can buy Mulane vapes and Mulane drops to line the throat so that when you inhale, it catches, as you breathe in, it catches the particles of the Mulane, takes it into your lungs and helps the membranes where the mucus builds up.
There is a type of tea you can get to that has like honey, mullein, some other type of mushrooms in it that's supposed to be like really good, and it's like excellent for people who quit smoking.
I mean, my GP turns around and says, if you can find an alternative medicine that steers you away from pharmaceuticals, then fine. Because I've got one of these. I wouldn't say he's a hippie doctor, but he also does what do they call it? The homeopathic medicines.
Yeah.
The more natural stuff. And he's quite happy to help promote them sort of things as well. And I think it's a good thing because then it keeps you away from all these big pharmaceutical companies.
Well, look at the sizes, the witches' sizes. When they went on the persecution of the witches. I mean, a lot of that was just jealousy with one neighbour being jealous of another neighbour. They're talking to their cat to kill them, But a lot of them were hedge witches or white witches, and all hedge witches or white witches were then. Well, ones that the people that knew about, be it male or female, they knew about herbs. They knew how to use them, what ailment to use it for, be it on humans or be it on animals, and they just helped people. But because the Vatican and the religion couldn't control it, they must be witches. They must be in league with demons. Burn them. It's all a load of old bollocks, absolute bollocks. And it was literally the early precursor to homeopathy.
That was all intensity, though.
But yeah, a lot to be said for studying that. And there was a lot of white witches out there that were treated very, very unjustly. And shame on them. The Dark Ages and all that stuff and the church has a history of blood. It's not all about there's God and this, that, the other. The church was all about money, power, persecution. All fucking religions are. Sorry, but they are.
I mean, prime example was all the business with dandelions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I take dandelion root extract.
Roundup.
I was always growing up as a kid being told stay away from dandelions, they make you wet the bed, they're poisonous and all this, that and the other.
Yeah.
Only to find out that dandelions are probably the best medication you could take for heart problems.
Yeah.
And other ailments. And I'm like, okay. And then I discovered about Roundup being the same company or being owned by the same pharmaceutical company that makes medications for heart disease.
Here's something for everybody to try out there. If you get a bug bite and you have a bunch of them in your yard, rub it right on your mosquito bite until it's yellow. Wait 5 seconds. See what happens. Take a dandelion that's still yellow and you have a bug bite. Just rub it in for 5 seconds. See what happens.
I wish I'd known that the other day when we were out and about and looking at all these places and on the cliffs and stuff. I got bitten by a horsefly, and I've got a lovely thing like that.
Yeah.
By God, that thing fucking hurts. Jesus. And the thing was, I felt it. It was like an itch, and I looked down. This thing had just started munching, and I flicked it off my leg, and then, oh, look at that! I got a hole, and then blood. And I was like, thank you. But it's only like that since a couple of days afterwards. My knee kills me now, but I might do that. Dandelion. In fact, I haven't taken any this week. I'll take some tonight. Dandelion, yeah.
It's also there's a thing on I noticed it on TikTok the other day. There was a reporter. She had been caught on the trend through TikTok of hay fever sufferers stinging themselves with stinging nettles on purpose.
We were talking about that the other day.
To get rid of hay fever. So she tried it and she stung herself on the back of her hand, and for the rest of the day her eyes weren't streaming, she wasn't got runny nose, she wasn't affected by hay fever whatsoever. And now scores of people are going out and stinging themselves on purpose to see if it works.
It's very, very similar to the old thing about honey. If you have a spoonful of honey a day, it will keep the hay fever away, but it has to be locally sourced honey from your area.
It's got to be pure honey. It can't be any of the shop shit.
Yeah, it's got to be, and it can only be from your area.
You're getting the pollen from what's actually around you.
Yeah, yeah. Because I get really bad hay fever, but to be fair,
I must be an alien then, because I don't think I've found any allergies yet, apart from my ex-wife.
Yeah, funnily enough, I've got an allergy.
I just got the penicillin.
Does anyone terraform these days? I don't know. I've been.
I know we're training to do it on Mars right now.
Yeah.
The people came out like a couple weeks ago.
Well, Elon Musk has said that that's what he wants to do up there because he wants 1 million people up there, doesn't he?
Yeah, the test subjects that he hired just got out of doing that. They were living in the 3D printed houses. That's what they're planning on doing, is sending some 3D printers up there, printing up them some villages, and then sending some astronauts.
Do you know what? I'm intrigued about Mars because there's more and more. Again, there's more and more things coming to light about Mars. It does have an atmosphere. It does have water. It's not a fucking red planet. It's what is being added on to make it look red. You know.
I wish we'd go check out Venus.
On Earth, eh?
I said I wish we'd go check out Venus. I think there's a lot more going on there than we know about, especially with the Valiant Thor stories.
Yes, and there's supposed to be a Stargate on there as well, but it's underneath one of their oceans. It leads to something under the oceans because they have like oceans of ammonia and stuff, don't they?
I think as well as Europa as well.
Mm-hmm.
There's definitely something. They know all about these bloody places. I'm sorry, but we're going to go and investigate living there. We're going to go and investigate living there. What the places?
Boots on the ground there.
Yeah. Yeah.
The problem is, and always will be, getting the boots there in the first place.
If they're not already there, like we know they're so far ahead of us in technology.
Yeah, before SpaceX come out with their rockets, NASA was looking at a 6-month journey from here to Mars.
Yeah,
but now with Elon Musk's technology adding to the fray, that has shortened the journey time. And then with the possible new engines coming through, it's going to shorten it even more.
Yeah.
So journey time to Mars, apart from the fact that you've got to have the correct distance. You know, obviously Earth and Mars have got to be at its closest point before you launch the rocket. Otherwise, you're just going to miss it completely, and your journey's going to take even longer.
Well, they want to build the launching pad on the moon, don't they? So they haven't got the atmosphere of Earth sucking.
It wouldn't take so much energy.
Yeah.
Which is one of the new things, talking about future tech, about launching satellites using the slingshot system.
Yeah, I've heard that.
I've been reading about it earlier on today, and they reckon it will cut fuel costs by 70%.
Well, that's been a theory. Yeah, it's been a theoretical thing since the early 70s. Slingshot.
It's a very bizarre contraption because it looks like a shellfish. It looks like a seashell. You know, or I don't know, an on-end snail, because you've got the actual exit point for the object, and then you've got this big sort of ball thing, and it just spins it round. And then when it gets to the right velocity, it releases it, and it comes straight out the tube, straight up into the air. It still does use some form of propulsion, but only 30% of what a normal rocket would use.
How would you do that with humans, though? Because you wouldn't be able to put a human on that.
No, you could have slingshot a human.
At the moment, the theory will be that it's only for launching satellites. A human being would not be able to. You'd
try it out on some prisoners.
You'd be plastering the wall with him.
Can you imagine just going through like the atmosphere, just being slingshotted? How bad that would suck.
We wouldn't know nothing about it. As soon as you got to a certain speed, you'd have been dead anyway.
Yeah. What was I going to say?
Oh, I had some that I saw that was pretty crazy, and I had my organoid rant to go on because I didn't get to do last week. Anybody see that they're talking about changing like the way prisons are ran? At least here, they're talking about doing some Neuralink that actually makes a person believe that they're in prison for like years and years and years, and like have like traumatic.
Yeah.
The only thing they're talking about in prisons over here is releasing more prisoners.
Yeah. Do you remember?
Let them all out.
Do you remember Stallone, Demolition Man?
Yeah.
That was set 2 years ago.
Yep.
I think Judge Dredd 2 was supposed to be like 2000s.
Yeah, Judge Dredd 2000 AD. But within the multiverse, he used to say doesn't exist, and all these things that have been happening. You know, I've forgotten again. Yeah.
I read somewhere that Japan is getting rid of all their like train workers, and they're being replaced with like these drones that actually ride on the track and fix it.
The robot things that look like something from Transformers.
Yeah.
Mandela effect.
They have Gundams over there.
There's been lots of things with the Mandela effect, especially recently, and I've noticed that more and more people are coming out going, hang on a minute. But I don't know if something has happened and we've been shoved into another universe. You would have thought there'd be something a bit more than the Mandela effect. But there's also the 1988 thing.
I don't know. I don't think it's because of certain the Mandela effect. I mean, maybe some of it, but I honestly think it's our perception of time is starting to change, and we know there's these different universes that are touching ours. Yeah. It's like a river next to a river. Sometimes they splash over. Sometimes fish jump over to the next river. It's just, and that's what these weird memories are. I don't know. There's a lot, like you said. Everybody, we have a couple celebrities that people have been saying that they've known have died like 3 times over now. Richard Simmons is the one everybody's been talking about, but I don't remember him dying before.
I thought he died years ago.
What? No, he died like last week.
I remember Richard Simmons. He was that annoying little gay man who wore the headbands with a guy. Well, kids. Him. Yeah.
He died last week.
I thought he died ages ago. There was somebody else who died last week, and I remember reading it, and I remember saying out loud, but I thought he died fucking years ago. There was somebody else as well. Professor
Proton. He died in Big Bang Theory. Everybody keeps mixing that up. And then came back as a ghost.
And Bob Newhart, he died as well, didn't he? But I thought
that's who I was talking about. Yeah. That's what everybody's been saying, and I was like, no, he died in Big Bang Theory, and then returned as a ghost, like a Jedi ghost.
That's right. Yeah, he did. Yeah. But he was in Librarians as well, wasn't he?
Yeah. I mean, I know him from Alf.
Yeah. Alf, I remember that. Dad. He was always trying to eat a cat in a big fuck off French stick, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Anyway, I've just seen the time. It's 5 past.
Hold up. I did not get to go on that rant. I'm doing it this week. Organoids. Have any of you guys seen anything about this? This is not like good, and I think both our countries are doing it now, where they're putting cloned brain matter into robots.
I have seen a few things about that, and I think they're going too far.
Yeah, I think this is way worse than AI.
I think it's going too far. Oh, thank you, Jill. Thank you very much. Yeah, I think it's going way beyond. The thing is, these fucking idiots and these tech giants and the heads of the government and this, that, and the other, they have been told and warned about AI and about these things and about all sorts of stuff. And like, has no one seen fucking Terminator? Has no one seen The Matrix? Because The Matrix and Terminator films are linked. You know?
So you get these people that do see it, that have these defense contracts, and they're like, wow, that thing could really blow some shit up. We need to make one of those. And then they just whole movie over their heads because they're just thinking about all the shit they can blow up and all the freedom and money they can get out of that.
Yeah. It's a lot of old
But
boys.
you say that though, Josh, at Rice University, they are studying necrobotics.
Yeah. That one's creepy too.
And that is messed up. And they actually they turned a dead spider into a robot-like gripper because the spider uses hydraulics for movement. And so they were able to literally turn it into a gripper, giving it the ability to pick up other objects. And what they did with them was they took the spider and they injected it with air. And this worked because the spider used the hydraulics to force their version of blood into their limbs, making them extend. So you're going to end up getting to a stage where you've got, in a sense, robots that look like living things, and the average person is not going to recognize them. So they're going to be cyborgs.
It's going
to be the poor class too. It's going to be the people that are poor. They're going to be like, that nobody going to care about, and they're like, well, let's utilize them.
See, the thing that gets me is if all this shit comes to fruition, and one day it will, and it'll get to the point where it's them or us, and then you're going to have those twats that put this all the government, all hiding in their bunkers underground, going, over to you guys. And quite frankly, I think before it gets to that, we should all be sitting back and questioning the government, and going, are we actually going to let you do this?
No, everybody like us, Mark, who has backgrounds in welding and fabricating, we should just start having seminars how easy it is to cut open a vault.
I'm a welder fabricator by trade.
Me too. It's very easy to just cut through metal.
Yeah. I was trained with Deloitte's Bankway. You know, you have to do brake tests and everything like that. So yeah.
Same here.
But, I think things are coming to a head, and I do think, because somebody asked the other day, didn't they? Are we going to have a civil war over here? I can see it brewing. I can see things brewing over here because of the shit we're in from the government, the previous government, and now the new one's come in. And we all said the new one would come in and go, money, 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 let's make it worse. And sure enough, he is. And it's us idiots that voted him in. Right. I don't know. Something's coming then on both sides of the shore, and it's not going to be good.
Yeah.
And on that poetic moment, I will say thank you very much for joining us all, and thank you for being everybody who's listening everywhere, because I can see all the things up here. Thank you for joining us all, and we will see you all next week. And Wayne and Josh, you got anything you want to add?
No? Catch everybody next week.
Wayne's nodded off.
Nah. I was just looking over Parker's video. Just to see what he was getting at. I was just getting up on the screen maybe.
Yeah. Well, we'll put it up on the Dark Mirrors wall. But yeah. Oh, hello!
Oh,
look at you with your muscles! Yay!
You say bye?
Hey, what's your name? My name's... I'm out of here!
My name's Bye.
It's Finn.
Finn?
He's gone.
My grandson is Finn, Finley, and they named him after Finn from Jake and Finn. Adventure Time.
That's cool.
Anyway, so yeah, it's good night from him. It's good night from him, her, me, Lilo, and everybody else. Thank you for joining us on all the various platforms and joining in with the comments and everything and sending in the WhatsApps. Be sure to join us next week. Anything you want us to talk about, send us email. You see it scrolling down the bottom there. There's an email address, or you can message Josh, Wayne, or myself, and we'll bring it all up. So once again, brilliant show. Thank you for joining us. And you will see Eminem's dad joining us next week, and Mr. Josh Bigfoot himself will be joining us from across the pond. So thank you very much, and good night, everybody.
Good night.
Bye-bye, guys.
See ya.